My ex-wife and I got a divorce months ago. We share custody of our 4 children, male pre-tween, young female child, male preschooler and female toddler. This is our first Christmas being separated. We'd usually spend the holidays with my side of the family. We checked the schedule and she's supposed to have the kids during Christmas, all 4 of them, which I thought was unfair to my family and me, especially my mother since she can't enjoy the holidays without her grandchildren. I called their mom and suggested that she let me have 2 of our children spend Christmas with my family while she has the other 2. She refused, but I told her it was the best compromise. She said something about not wanting the kids to spend Christmas away from each other, but I explained how miserable my family and I would be this Christmas if none of the kids were around. She said no and that I needed to prioritize the kids' feelings above mine and my family's, but I told her that this compromise was the best we could come up with. We got into an argument, and she insisted she won't let the kids be separated on Christmas and that if I had an issue with that, then I needed to go to court. I snapped and in a moment of anger, told her that no one could tell me when I got to see my kids. I called her bitter and selfish, then she wished me luck in court and hung up. I tried to call her mother, hoping she'd reason with her, but she instead shamed me for being willing to separate the kids from each other just so I could please my family. She said that her daughter is doing what's best for the kids. My mother is devastated over this and thinks that my ex is being deliberately cruel. It still hasn't been figured out yet, and she is rejecting my calls. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. 4 kids under 10. Wow, I feel so bad for the ex. You probably made her do everything. I love we didn't need any unnecessary backstory on why you're divorced. You and your family are idiots, and your wife was done. Got it. Unfortunately, if your mother at her age and stage of life doesn't recognize that the well-being of the kids, especially during this first holiday season post-divorce, comes first, then she never will, and I'm very afraid you never will either. Sigh. Agreed, your children are not emotional support animals for your mother. She needs to regulate her emotions, not stamp her feet and declare that Christmas is ruined if she doesn't get her way. I'm assuming care and custody arrangements have already been put in place, and you will get to see your 4 children during the holidays, just not on Christmas Day specifically. Don't separate your children for selfish reasons. Also, which 2 kids would OP pick to bring? No better way to drive a wedge between siblings than favoritism or the appearance of favoritism. Splitting the kids up like that, where 2 get to see grandma and the other 2 don't, isn't healthy for the kids at all. OP's mom is at fault here, whining and crying about Christmas. Neither of them is thinking about what's best for the children. It's all about me, me, me. Exactly, because the miserable creature says she can't enjoy holidays unless the children are there to entertain her. These are the kind of people the King Solomon story was written about. Can you chop the baby in half so I can have a part of it? If OP had only 3 children, he'd want to cut one in half. It still hasn't been figured out yet. Yes, it has been figured out, and it's settled by the courts. The kids will be together at Christmas with their mom. You just haven't accepted it, but it's all figured out. Unless you decide to go to court, where the judge will laugh in your face and not split up the kids. Then it will be figured out, and you'll be broken. You are the idiot for all the reasons your wife told you, and likely for a few more you haven't shared. I'm a 23-year-old female. My parents split up when I was 4 because my mom was having an affair with my dad's brother. After that went down, my dad went back to college and got another degree, and he's now working a very good job that he got through a friend and is very wealthy. My relationship with my parents was very strained as my mom didn't let me see my dad until I was a teenager because she wanted to avoid talking to him. In recent months, my dad has started having a girlfriend who we'll call Sarah, 24. Sarah is obviously a sugar baby. She doesn't have a job and my dad pays for everything, and Sarah is always bragging about the expensive stuff that my dad buys her. Her friends live in a similar lifestyle. I have them as friends on social media. The fact that my dad is dating a woman a year older than me makes me cringe. I'm getting married to my partner, 24 male, next summer, and I've decided I don't want Sarah at my wedding. She's not his girlfriend or partner, she's his sugar baby. My dad obviously didn't take it well, and said that Sarah is just as much part of the family as my mom's new husband, and said that I don't get to decide which relationships are acceptable and which aren't. He said I was self-righteous, continued denying that Sarah was the sugar baby, and accused me of trying to manipulate him. He said I have my mom to thank because they aren't together anymore. My future mother-in-law and father-in-law even got involved and said that if Sarah came to the wedding, they wouldn't be going as they think my dad's relationship is disgusting. My dad is not contributing financially to the wedding, and I'm not financially dependent on him. My relationships with both of my parents are not great because of previous actions. My uncle is not invited to my wedding, and after the affair, he was estranged from the family. My dad met Sarah on a sugar baby website, but said their relationship changed, and she was his girlfriend. She's definitely a sugar baby, gold digger or whatever you want to call it, but it's definitely not an innocent romantic relationship. So, am I the idiot for refusing to invite my dad's sugar baby to my wedding? Nope. She can be a part of his family just like my loved ones are a part of my family but not a part of yours. It's your wedding and you can decide who is to be invited and who should not be. Not the idiot, OP. No need to invite, but be ready for years of sugar drama if you want to remain close to your dad. I also have an alarm bell ringing in my head that Sarah wants to use your wedding as another show-off opportunity, a chance to take selfies and go full influencer mode with her expensive baubles. Your father can deny it until he's blue in the face, but the age gap makes it painfully, glaringly obvious. If that wasn't obvious enough, the fact that she doesn't have a job and is going all influencer style to brag about what she got from your father makes it eye-catchingly obvious. She is a sugar baby. In addition, your future husband's parents can see that Sarah is obviously trouble. They're so repulsed by her they don't even want to be in any sort of proximity to her, even if it's separated by a crowd at the wedding. They seem to be decent folks with a very active and functional moral compass. I wonder if the dad thinks his girlfriend would still be with him if he was poor or if he didn't pay for everything. Once the payments stop, she will be gone and out. He might just be delusional. Sarah's work is still work, but it is super weird and awkward that the client doesn't seem to be aware that he's a client. Awkward. The man needs to get his life together. I'm sorry, but you are the idiot for inviting a cheater, not somebody in a relationship who isn't harming anybody. Your moral compass needs some work. It sounds like your dad may still have issues from being cheated on by his wife and brother. I was cheated on, but if the other person had been my sister, I don't think I'd be the same person I am today. And your mom kept you away from him, even though she was the one at fault. It's your wedding, so you can invite who you want, but I feel for the old man. Indeed, if he never got therapy to deal with that level of betrayal, that might explain why he's trying to push bringing a +1 to your wedding. He doesn't want to show up alone when your mother, the woman who cheated on him, shows up with her happily married husband. My sister had just given birth about a month and a half ago, and I went over to help her with the baby and house chores since her husband couldn't take a leave from work. The problem is my sister is an extremely outgoing person and loves going to places and trying out new things. On the other hand, I'm burnt out, and all I'm thinking about for an outing is how I'll be carrying the stroller across the long metro stairs, the baby needing a diaper change, and us running to the nearest toilet, the heavy traffic, the loud noises. In short, I see it as stress and a chore, not something I do out of enjoyment. For several days now, I've been holed up in my room and refusing to go out with her while she goes alone. Finally, today, she told me we would just go to the nearest park and that it's unhealthy for me to stay cooped up in the house all the time. I declined again and she became upset and said she wasn't in the mood to go out anymore. She asked why I was even over if all I wanted to do was stay home, that she was depressed and I was making her feel worse. I told her she could always go by herself and leave the baby with me, but she said that defeats the point of having company. She grumbled about no one caring about her and went into their bedroom and shut the door. I thought maybe I should have just sucked it up and gone with her, but I don't know why she insists on me going out too when I said I'm exhausted. I don't know. Am I the idiot? Edit. I'm helping out with things she has to exert physical effort to do, like cleaning the bathroom, mopping the floors, doing laundry, cooking, and going out with her to doctor's appointments. I work freelance and it hasn't been easy to do this. I'm seeing a therapist for major depressive disorder. I quit my job and became a freelancer to have the flexibility I needed to manage my illness. I wanted to contribute with whatever I could, but it's not helping as I realise now. Not the idiot. You're cleaning, cooking and helping care for the baby while struggling with your mental health. Your sister sounds like an ungrateful brat. Most parents would kill to have someone take some of that work off their plate, not complain that you won't be their unpaid nanny during social excursions too. I go back home and dial your own help down to cleaning and delivering meals once or twice a week. Her husband or someone else can step up for the rest. Going to the park shouldn't really be a chore. Your sister just had a baby. It's wonderful that you want to help her with the baby, but most people forget that a new mother needs more help than just with chores and the baby. They need human interaction. I'm a first-time mom myself, and I'm going stir crazy in my house alone with the baby, and I'm not an outdoorsy, outgoing person. Your sister needs to get out and do something to feel like herself again, and not just be a mother. When you're gone, she'll probably not be able to go out by herself and with the baby easily. You are the idiot. This isn't about you, and if you were going to make it about you, you shouldn't have offered your help. OP, she's telling you clearly that the help she needs right now is having someone go with her and get her out of the house. So yeah, maybe it is a chore. Just add it to the list with the cooking and cleaning, and muster up the strength for one outing a day, or it may be time to ask yourself what you're really contributing by sticking around. Honestly, just go home. You're clearly miserable and that doesn't help anyone. Holy crap, there are a lot of people on this thread who seem to have zero understanding of an introvert's need for solitude to recharge, and the idea that not everything is black and white, all or nothing. Damn people, I feel bad for all the introverted family members or people in your lives who must tolerate your "if you don't have the energy to just do everything you're asked, just get out" attitude. OP is under no obligation to be there in the first place. She's helping in whatever capacity she's able, and anything asked of her beyond that is just entitlement. My wife and I have 2 daughters, Julia, kindergartner, and Alina, toddler. I've always been close to my family, and my parents are really involved with my daughters. They regularly babysat Julia since she was around 1, and then Alina. Currently it's 2 or 3 times a week. I know that sounds like a lot, but it always seemed to be their choice. We were always able to afford normal childcare. Originally, that was the plan when my leave was finished. However, my parents thought it was a waste since Mum could watch them and they could spend time with their grandchild instead. The whole system happened because they asked for it. We do thank them and appreciate it. Our girls are really close to them. However, I overheard my parents complaining to my sister about it around 3 weeks ago. Apparently, we're being selfish and basically just pawning off our children, abandoning our responsibility. I was pretty upset and we ended up arguing about it. They said that we're essentially crap parents who refuse to do our job and we shouldn't just leave our children to them. But we literally only did that because they wanted to be there for the kids. We didn't bring it up or force it, and whenever they couldn't, we found backup options. Since then, we haven't left Julia or Alina with my parents. After discovering how two-faced they were about it all, I have no interest in it. So we've got a temporary alternative and are looking into more permanent options. Last week, Mum asked when we would bring the kids over and I told them we weren't. I don't want to abandon my duty and feel uncomfortable having my children around someone who thinks so little of my wife and me. I mean, I don't want our girls to start thinking we don't care. My parents are mad and think I'm being entitled and unreasonable, but I think it's a reasonable boundary. My sister has jumped in, claiming I'm a horrible son and taking advantage of them, but they clearly didn't think I should give my responsibility away to them, so I'm not. My wife is conflicted, and I know Julia was really close to them, so a part of me is worried my reaction is unreasonable. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Your mom was talking crap behind your back to your sister, then blamed you when she got caught, then doubled down and accused you and your wife of bad parenting. If you could walk up and hear it, so can your kids. Stay strong. You are not wrong, she is. I think they like the martyr role and that's all. They did this to themselves. If you want, force them to admit that it was their choice publicly. After that, they can have babysitting time with the kids. Till then, they can suck on an onion. Disagree. OP's parents sound like mine. If I've learned anything, it's this. You can't win with people like this. If you start letting the kids back, they'll complain you're taking advantage. If you don't, you're keeping them from their grandchildren. If it were me, I'd find a childcare provider and squash any further discussion of my parents' babysitting. Otherwise, the argument will likely repeat itself. You can't please people who want to be the victim. My biggest pregnancy craving right now is chocolate cake. We didn't have any left and my husband was on an important call, so I asked my brother-in-law if he could get it for me, as my husband doesn't think I should be driving or going out late at night alone. When I asked, he was spending time with his girlfriend, so after he left she was annoyed at me for interrupting them. She said I was rude and I should have got the cake myself or asked somebody else since they were busy and my brother-in-law wasn't my errand boy. I explained why I didn't go myself, but she said I was just making excuses. Am I the idiot? Edit, I'm 7 months pregnant. They were watching TV and my husband could be on call for hours, so I asked his brother. It's like a 5 or 10 minute drive. I could have waited, but I thought I would ask and see if he could get it, and if he couldn't, I would have just waited for my husband to go. Well, you have to admit you were pretty rude to interrupt someone's date because you wanted cake. I believe you can download apps that deliver food instead of inconveniencing other people. You are the idiot. Also, pregnancy is not a disability. I don't understand the trend of pregnant women who act like they can't do things for themselves. I see a lot of this, like the pregnant woman who ate her sister-in-law's diabetic gummy bears when she could have gotten some for herself. I wasn't like that when I was pregnant, but I know many pregnant women act entitled to having people do things for them. Who cares if OP is craving chocolate cake? Why can't she get some for herself? But OP would have to wait for 10 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes for her husband to get off his call. Gasp. She's pregnant and has a craving. Pregnant women can't go out alone. It's like a disease. I've been pregnant twice, and pregnancy cravings can wait. They aren't a huge deal to resolve right away, if at all. Unfortunately, she seems to lack patience. I never in my adult life asked someone to go out at night to buy me an immediate cake. That just seems like something a toddler would do. Disagree. OP's not the idiot. Everyone is ridiculous. She didn't force him to go and he was at OP's house. The girlfriend could have gone with him. People aren't idiots for asking for favours, they're idiots when they demand, which OP did not. If he wanted to spend uninterrupted time with his girlfriend, he should go to his own house. Holy crap, have you guys ever dated, been married, or been a nice person? I'll drop a lot for some of the simplest favours for my in-laws. That can be anywhere from getting a sack of potatoes to taking care of their kids for a couple of hours. Why? Well, because I love them and they do the same for me. Running out to get some cake for his pregnant sister-in-law, who's pregnant with his niece and nephew. I'm sure he could have said no if he wanted to. And why couldn't the girlfriend go with her if she wanted to? OP literally asked for a small favour and he agreed to do it. Do these people feel inconvenienced when a family member asks them for something? Geez, this thread is hypercritical towards pregnant women.